Biggest mistake we see with our clients after being pulled over on suspicion of DWI is they say they had 2 beers, right? And no one's ever had 2 beers in their life. That's not how beers work. And so, if you're pulled over, you're going to probably want to either deny drinking alcohol altogether or not say anything at all. I'm certainly not suggesting that you lie to police officers, but just remember, you're not required to incriminate yourself when speaking to police officers. So, sometimes the best advice is to not talk to police officers at all. So one of the tricks that I learned as a DWI prosecutor that police officers are doing when they pull you over is they create what's called a divided attention test. And what this means is that they're going to go to your window and they're going to ask you to do 2 things at once. They're going to ask for your ID, and then while you're getting your ID, they're going to ask you where you're coming from or how many beers you had that night, right? That forces your brain to try to do 2 things at once, and it makes you look nervous. It makes you look confused, right? That's where we get like he was stumbling to get his ID out of the wallet. Well, it's because he's really, really nervous, and you asked him to do 2 things at once, and his attention got divided. That's a little trick. So, if you're pulled over, try to remain calm and try to do 1 thing at a time. When he asks you for his ID, take out the ID, give it to him, and then follow up with the questions. So DWIs have certainly changed recently, and one of the big things we see is that people are going out and they are documenting on social media everything they do, right? And so they document themselves getting ready to go out. They document themselves at the bar. They document themselves taking shots and dancing and cheering, and then they get a DWI a couple hours later. Well, guess what? The state, their investigators, they are going to go on your social media and they are going to pull all of those photos and they're going to use them against you. So the advice is always just be really careful about what you post on social media, because when things go wrong later in the night, that stuff can actually be used against you. And another word of caution that we've seen with some clients is that then after being arrested or whatever it was, they go and they start deleting pictures, right? Deleting all the stuff. Well, that's the new version of flushing the drugs down the toilet. That is tampering with evidence, and that's actually a felony. And we have had clients come to us and say, I am looking at a 3rd-degree felony because I erased all these pictures from my social media, and the police are now charging me with tampering with evidence. So be really careful with social media, both documenting what you're doing and then deleting it afterwards. Another big mistake I see with DWIs is people just being jerks, right? The courthouse is a very human place, and, you have prosecutors and they're watching these videos of people getting arrested. And so it does make a difference, right? Whether you are a polite and respectful person to the police officer or you act like an ass. These are the things that prosecutors and judges look at when determining who to cut breaks to. I can't tell you how many DWI videos I used to watch where you would have somebody just act like a total jerk, right? And then you go to court and the police officer is like, hey, don't cut him a break. He was a real jerk to me that night. He called me names, whatever it was. So a really big mistake is if you're getting arrested, don't be a jerk. Be nice. The process is going to happen. You're going to end up on court. Everything is being recorded and is going to be watched. And things turn out a lot better for you if you are just respectful and nice. I'm not saying, don't fight your case. I'm not saying, give up your rights. I'm not saying don't talk. I am saying just be as respectful as possible during the process. You can still do that and then go to court and fight your case. So no, you can't handle your DWI case yourself. Most courts and most judges won't even allow it. Think of it like this. It's like if you're playing basketball against somebody, right? And the other person has never played basketball before in their life. They don't know the rules. They don't know how to dribble. It causes issues. You make it hurt. They might foul you. They don't know the rules. You're constantly having to stop and explain things to them. The courts don't want that. The judges don't like that. They want clean, professional work. And so you're going to need a DWI attorney when you're arrested for DWI. So at a professional DWI firm, you're going to have a higher level of communication. You're going to have better outcomes, and you're going to just have a more professional ride through the process. Sometimes court-appointed or public defenders, they're just overworked. They have too many cases. They can be very good attorneys, but if they don't have the time to look into your case, it's just not going to get you as good an outcome as if you have private attorneys with staff, with support team members. Everybody's looking at your case. Everybody's working to get the best possible outcome. After a DWI, if you're taking your case seriously, that's what you want. So after a DWI arrest, there actually is a little bit of a sense of urgency that we don't see in other cases. And the reason is this: you need to keep your driver's license. And so after DWI arrest, the whole world may be mad at you, right? But you still need to go to work. You still need to take your kids to school. You still need to buy groceries. You still need to do all the things that you have to do to live your life. And that's going to start with protecting your driver's license. After a DWI arrest, you have 15 days to request a hearing to keep your license. And the real benefit is that if you just request the hearing, because the courts are backed up, it's going to take 3 or 4 or 5 months before your case is even heard for the driver's license. During that time, you are legally able to drive, right? During the pendency of the hearing. And so that's going to let you to do all those things that you need to do. It's also going to let you plan for what to do if your driver's license does get suspended down the line. It lets you prepare to get an occupational driver's license that allows you to drive to work. It allows you to prepare your defense. It allows a lot of good things to happen. So after DWI, you really want to hire an attorney as quickly as possible because you only have 15 days to request that hearing. Sometimes people think, well, it's just a DWI, it's not that big a deal, but it actually is. The collateral consequences can really affect you down the line. You still need to protect your driver's license. You don't want your insurance to go through the roof. You want to take the steps necessary to take the case seriously. Hire a DWI attorney or law firm that's done hundreds, if not thousands of DWI cases. They're going to know the best defenses, they're going to know the current laws, and they're going to get you the best outcome in that DWI case.